Let me bring it in here. Hold on. I'm going to have to go back to... right now. All right. Here we go. What's up, friends? We are bringing you a very first Deadlite review. Okay? Live. Okay, we're going to do a Q&A with Josh Bender live from his Deadlite workshop, and we're going to take a very close look at the 60-watt Deadlite Necro, the most powerful infrared illuminator that Deadlite has currently. We have more powerful ones in the prototype stages, but this is the one that's the most powerful that we offer to our customers. So without further ado, we're going to bring over Josh. Let me get his video up on the screen and get him unmuted. Hello, Josh.
Hello.
How are you tonight?
I'm doing good.
All right. Let's make sure that we're getting... If you are on YouTube, feel free to comment. I don't see any comments on YouTube yet, but we're live streaming on Facebook and YouTube. I want to hear what everybody has to ask Josh Bender, because how many chances do you have to sit there and just go to town and ask him all the questions that you've ever wanted if you never had the chance to, even though he's very responsive on Facebook? Isn't that right? That's what I hear.
Right.
All right. Okay, so we're going to take a look. Uh-oh, I got to turn my phone down. I'm getting blown up like normal. Okay, we're going to take a look at this light, right, Josh? So why don't you from your end of it, what you recall how the 60-watt came to be? Why does that light exist?
Well, I mean, like anything, any product you make, always try to make it better, add more options, features. So the Necro platform can always get bigger. So at that point, we had the 40-watt Necro is what we started out with, and then I had built a couple 30-watt, but the 40-watt seemed to be really popular. And then, of course, you and I were talking about other features and everything, and you came up with an idea for basically the design was for the Sonys, because the Sonys you can turn night shot on and off, and so we added some white LEDs in the mix and came out with the night shot. But it not only worked really well for Sony handycams, but anybody filming, it's just easy. Instead of reaching for a flashlight, it's easy to just reach up and hit a button and turn on 5, 10, or 15 watts of white LEDs. And you also have the adjustment knob to turn it up too. So you can also, film in white light or in IR. So it was a pretty versatile light. And it's actually what I personally use. I'm a Sony guy. I like Sony handycams. I like SJ cams, but mainly I film with a Sony AX100 is what I currently have, and the night shot is my favorite.
Yeah, when we were developing the 40-watt, I was thinking of options and features for that light that would make it better for different people with different cameras. And I know a lot of people use the night shot for Sony handycams, and I was like, wow, it would be great just to have white light on there for when you're not shooting in infrared. So that's great. Before we continue, guys, please hold off your questions for Josh until we get to that segment of the video, so I don't miss your question, because there's already a whole bunch of people commenting, and I'm doing this comment, or I'm moderating the comments by myself tonight. Josh is going to be trying to look at them himself, but just please try to hold off on them. But if you have a question while we're talking, just kind of save it for that section, because we're going to do that for the last half of the show. So the 60-watt was born, right? I film outside a lot. I use infrared cameras, and I film outside a lot. So I'm looking for something like super duper bright for outside. So that was our main purpose, right? Because 60-watt, unless you're in a huge room, you really don't need it.
No. The 60 watt is, it's just like the other Necros. You have the curved face, and it actually curves in two directions, vertically and horizontally. So you have it's more of a light for illumination. Um, you do get some range out of it, but the if you look at the light, and I actually have one right here, so you can see the curvature here and also here. So your top row is kind of pointing up a little bit. Your middle row is straight out, and your bottom row is down just a little bit. So you're illuminating everything side to side, up, down, and also having range. Again, outside is any challenge to illuminate because outside you could have some wide open areas, and it makes it very difficult to illuminate outside. But like any light, in a wide open area, if you don't have if you don't have reflective surfaces for the light to reflect off of back to the camera, then you're pretty much just going to illuminate the ground in front of you.
Right. So, in your opinion, Josh, what is the advantage of having the curved surface versus what a standard light looks like?
Well, originally, when the 40 watt Necro was born, that was for your wide angle lens on your Zoom Q8, which is was it 160, 170 degrees?
160.
160. And you had, when we first started talking about the lights and everything, and come up with the Necro, you had a problem with standard, flat faced lights illuminating everything in the view of that Q8, which would also be a problem with your action cameras, your SJ cams, anything like that, GoPros. So the Necro was a fix to illuminate a wide angle camera lens so that you don't have the dark edges and everything. And again, outside, it is difficult. You can still have the dark edges, but inside, I mean, there's lots of pictures on the Deadlite Facebook page that shows different views, even at Waverly, lighting up the hallways, and side to side you have full IR, no hot spots, and so that's basically what it was designed for. But it's actually a good versatile light for any camera. But there are certain cameras that don't pick up the IR as well as other ones. But that's why I like the Sonys and the SJ cams. It's through testing, it seemed to be that gives us the best results.
Yeah, I also found on your Sony AX100 that with standard illuminators, you still get a dark halo, like a vignetting effect or a spotlight effect that most people see. And I had not even I'm so spoiled with the Necro. I've been using it for so long. I did not realize how bad it was, just even with standard angled lenses that are usually only like 45 degrees or somewhere in that neighborhood. So it's very important that to emphasize that the Necro is even good for those. It's not like it's tailored just for action cam like lenses or fisheye lenses.
And that's one of the reasons why I haven't worked on standard flat face lights. I've been concentrating on the Necro and building off the Necro platform because of that reason. Right. Now with the curved face, I mean, it does hinder your range. You still have really good range with it, but it does hinder your long range stuff. But normally when you're filming at a location, you're filming either right in front of you, down a hallway, stuff like that. But I mean, it still has in my opinion, really good range.
Yeah, I'm looking at death tunnel footage now. That's what the viewers are watching, and kind of give them an idea of how it looks in the tunnel. Like, you noticed that a lot of cameras have auto exposure compensation settings in their camera. Do you? And I've talked with you about that in length. Will you kind of talk about how that works and how that can affect the exposure of light?
Now, I think what you're showing there is that is with the Zoom Q8.
Yes.
Okay. And now, like in the death tunnel, it's a really long tunnel, but it has narrow walls. So the problem that you have, you try to turn it up to illuminate all the way down the tunnel, but what you end up doing is, and this happens the same in like a forest, but you have, back to the death tunnel, you have narrow walls, so you're trying to illuminate all the way to the end. Well, as you turn it up, it gets brighter on the walls directly in front of you and hinders your vision past that. So you kind of you have to, and that's why you have the adjustment knob. You have, that's a very good, feature to have, so that you can adjust it to get a happy medium, so you can see further and not white out what's right in front of you. But the same in in a wooded area, your trees right in front of you are going to be, really white if you turn it up and not be able to see past you. So you kind of have to adjust it to get the right adjustment that you're looking for.
Okay, we're actually going to see if I can find some footage of us using the lights from top of Waverly and looking down past the parking lot. I'm not very prepared for this video. We're going to try to find it. I hope you don't have a seizure from the strobing that you're seeing here for a second. But if I can find it, we actually can see the trees on the other side. If you've ever been on top of Waverly Hills, you will notice that the parking lot is below, and actually I think I went too far, and you can see the trees if you have some light. I actually don't know where it is in this footage. Forgive me, guys. I should be a lot more prepared for this video to show you that. But I will look for it. When I find it, I'll show it. But what is my take on the 60 watt is it's very, very good for wide angle lenses on cameras, because it is very difficult, like you mentioned before, to illuminate the whole field of view, and that is so important. A lot of people get stuck on the range, right? They want to go 100 yards and see if they even exceed that. And in my opinion is, if you're trying to see something 100 yards away, most cameras that I see people using will not make out what is 100 yards away, even though that you're reflecting light off of something. And even if you can reflect light off something 100 yards away that's so far away, unless it's big as a dinosaur, you're not going to make out what that is. So it's not important, okay? It's kind of like saying you have 1,000 megapixel camera. Who needs 1,000 megapixel camera when your eyes can only see a certain resolution, right? So what's really important to me, and we would like to stress, to you guys that are out there shopping for what's a good light, is you want illumination of the full field of view. Now, in my opinion, the wider the angle lens, the better video data you get for your investigation, right? If you got a narrow lens, you can only see a narrow field of view. If you got a wide one, that's great. You can see more, so you can capture more. What do you think about that, Josh? Do you think the importance of the field of view illumination exceeds or trumps range?
Oh, absolutely. I think the wide angle, even though the AX100 doesn't have, it may be a little wider than standard, but definitely a wider view. The more that you can see in a single view, I would say the better.
Right, because it actually took quite a while for us to achieve full field of view with the Necro and the diffuser. We had to actually use both, and it took a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Necro was out for a little while before it started the diffuser. It had to come out with a way to to make it because I hand make everything. The housings are handmade. The diffusers I make. I heat and bend the plastic to match the contour of the light. And we started out with thumb screws, which I mean it was okay, but then I started using magnets, and that's by far the best way. No tools, no messing around. Reach up, take it off, put it on in the dark. It's very easy. But the diffuser definitely helps smooth out the light. You can use it outside, but you're definitely going to kill your range. But inside, it definitely works really well. And that took some trial and error too. Getting the right, I don't know what you call it, but how much to diffuse it. Because I sand the plexiglass is what I do. So to find the right grit, I tested different grits, and then it kept going until it looked good, and it was smoothing everything out. There wasn't any kind of hot spots or anything like that. So
how long does it actually take to build a 60-watt Necro? That's my first question to you.
Well, actually, I think a night shot takes longer to build than a 60 watt because of all the switches and everything like that. But it all depends. Because I carry a full-time job that also requires working overtime and on call and some travel. So I try to get in 2 to 3 hours in the shop in the evening. So, and there's some dry times. I rubber coat the lights and the glue. There's all kinds of drying time that I have to wait. But I can build a 60 watt in probably 4 to 5 evenings if everything goes well. Now I have, since we started doing some upgrades, just small upgrades on the light, it has taken longer until I get used to that process and just kind of get my normal routine going for that particular light. But all the Necros, the housings are all built the same. So when the process changes, it changes for all of them at the same time. I changed, the vents. I went to a lot better battery holder. The problem with the battery holder that I was currently using at the time was the only one that I could find with a lid, and it didn't fit every 18650 battery. So all 18650 batteries aren't all the same size. Some of them are, flat top, button top. Some are bigger around. Some are, just flat out longer. So now we have a battery holder that, it doesn't stick out on the outside of the light anymore. It's actually recessed into the light, and it can accommodate any size 18650. I still recommend certain brands. There's cheaper ones. There's more expensive ones that are definitely worth the money, but sometimes the cheaper ones are good. I've made 2 of the cheaper ones last all night at Waverly before, but of course, we all have Deadlights in the group, so that definitely helps.
Yeah,
your battery.
It's overkill, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's great because we know when we need it, it's there.
Let's talk about custom features and special features that maybe not everybody knows about. The first thing I want to talk about is the remote. Can you demonstrate that? Do you have a light that you can use set up with the remote?
I didn't know you were gonna.
I did ask you to do that, but it was a while ago.
I can set it up real. You know what? I don't know if I have one.
Oh man.
I know you have one, but let me see here.
Yeah, there's no way I can. There's no way because I don't have a night shot that people can actually see the light. I'm glad to see everybody in the comments. We appreciate everybody that loves their Deadlite. All the ones that have not been able to get a Deadlite. Hopefully your day will come. There is a very long waiting list since these lights are handmade and take a while. Josh has a full-time job, like he said, and it's pretty crazy.
So what I have the remote. I don't have the. Oops, I don't have the cord.
Okay.
It will get put out there eventually. It's not. I've put it in some lights already, but there's some things that I want to figure out first. But
we can explain the features of it, right?
Yeah, basically anything that you can do on the light, other than I'll take the diffuser off here. You have your this is my personal one, the night shot. So your top and bottom rows are 20 watts of IR each, and then you have your 5, 10, and 15 watt white light. With the remote, which is this right here, just this little handy dandy thing here. I can do it externally, or I'm working on being able to do it internally. The problem with internally is trying to get it to work both external power and the battery power, the 18650 battery power. So these Necros are equipped with a dual power feature, so you can throw the switch, power it with external power. Say your external battery dies, you got two in the spare tank, and you just throw the switch and you're going again. So you have that extra battery power for backup. But very few have killed a battery pack during the night. I know you have with the 60 watt, but the 60 watt is pretty powerful and drains the battery faster with that. But, so basically the controls, other than switching to white light, this controller can do everything. So you would just turn on your IR, turn your adjustment knob all the way up, and use your controller. You can turn it on, off. There is a brightness setting. You can turn the brightness up and down, or you can do, and I'll hold this up here up to camera, you can do 100%, 50%, 25%, or you can work the brightness there.
I believe it's like 7 or 8 stops of brightness if you use the plus or minus.
Yes, and it also has a strobe feature. It has different blinking, dimming, all kinds of different features that you can use. That just comes with the remote. But Justin uses the strobe feature. He actually uses the remote instead of reaching for his light. He can adjust it that way. But like I said, you can turn it on and off with the remote, and it's wireless. And the range on it is pretty good. We were in a gymnasium, set up an event, and you were in the far corner of the gym, and you were able to turn the light on and off. And it does go through walls. So as long as you're within range, it will work. Now, we did test it at Sachs Bridge up in Gettysburg. And I'm not sure how far do you think I was away from that? That light was in the middle of the bridge.
I want to say you were at least 60, 70 yards.
Mm-hmm. So it has really good range. I think the one problem with it I'm trying to figure out is if you have 2 lights with the remote feature, I got to work on trying to see if I can get them so you're only controlling 1 light instead of 2. But that's something I
Yeah, someone on YouTube asked if the strobe speed was adjustable, and I said yes. It is very, very, very variable controlled.
8 different settings. So if you have 8 different settings for brightness, you have 8 different speeds for the strobe. So each time you change the way the light is blinking, sometimes it starts out bright and goes dim, and then bright and dim. And you can do dim to bright, and it does different blinking and stuff. You have, with each mode like that, you have 8 different speeds that it will blink. So there's a lot of features to that.
Let's see if I can. I think I have some strobe footage here, if I can find it somewhere in here.
While you're doing that, I know way back here, Philip Wyatt asked, see if I can find it here, but it's way up there. He asked when I was going to have when is the one with the full spectrum and IR bulbs coming out. Philip, I already have made lights with IR and full spectrum. Derek, actually, the second Necro I ever built was 30-watt IR and 10-watt full spectrum. I have made some night shots that are full spectrum instead of white light. I know there's a customer in Florida that has two custom 30-watt Necros with IR and full spectrum, so I can do that as well.
Awesome. So what the strobe is good for, there is a theory that suggests spirits, entities move at a higher vibration. They operate on a higher vibrational dimensional plane. So if that's true, if they're vibrating fast, moving fast, then you know how the strobe light has an effect on like a dancer in a club. It kind of freeze frames them. You can kind of stop the motion of what's moving. And the theory is if it's moving real fast and you strobe it, you may get a glimpse and freeze it. If you've ever watched a ceiling fan spin at a high rate of speed, and you can essentially watch the ceiling fan blades kind of just freeze, and you can see individual fan blades as you're strobing. And I thought that was an interesting feature to have in a light if you're trying to experiment with that theory.
Mm-hmm.
So other features, let's let them see the face light real quick. I just think that's a really cool thing. It's a really cool thing. So let's go to video projects, and the face light is 543 in this, I think. So let's take a look at it.
So while you're doing that, there, Justin is big on cross checking and eliminating as many variables as he can. So the face cam is a huge deal with our filming and research. And so there was no way other than glare or just happened somebody has a flashlight on to be able to see someone's face with the face cam. So Justin wanted a face light. So I started brainstorming and trying to figure out an idea of how I can build a small light, something that he can just mount on his rig. And so while I was building his 60 watt, I was able to add another DC jack and a DC output jack on the back of the light, and he can power his face light with the same power that's powering his 60 watt Necro. So what I did was I put an LED on one end and a white LED on the other end, so he can illuminate himself in IR, or he can flip it around and just change the switch and illuminate his face with white light. And it's dimmed down enough that he can see past it, and it's not blinding him, so he can still see. But it's just enough to illuminate his face. But he can also flip it around and use it as a flashlight too. But that's all powered straight from his 60 watt Necro. And that was actually just a custom build that I can definitely do it again, no problem. But that was done for built to Justin's specific needs or wants.
Well, I showed him some footage of the face cam in full spectrum, and now they're watching our live stream that we just did for the world's largest ghost hunt. And you see in the bottom right corner there, I'm using the white light there because I use my phone to show our viewers my face. Now, like Josh said, I cross-check with that. Plus, it's more interactive when you're live streaming, they can actually see your face as they're hearing your voice. So you just flip that around. I showed a little segment of what the face light looked like. You flip it around. One bulb is infrared. The other side is white light. So that is very, very awesome. I mean, the fact that I can do that and it's powered by my light, I just stick it on my shoulder rig and I use a GoPro adapter. My camera went out. Hold on, give me a second.
I can still see you.
It's a different camera, Josh. I have to use 2 cameras, but I'm back. So it's freaking awesome. I use GoPro accessory on the end of my rig there. If anybody wants to see this setup, you're more than happy to. I'll show it to you. But you plug it right into the back of the Deadlite, the 60 watt, and it's powered by the actual light. And if you're interested in doing face cams and having face lights, that's great. But another thing, Josh, is we were talking about using it for the POV cams that you attach to your head. Usually small lights, they don't put off enough light, and if you get a brighter light, they're too big. Mm-hmm. So we could use that for actual head cams, POV cams, mounted on your head somewhere, and just run a wire down to a control box that clips to your belt. I think people would be interested in that. If you are interested in that, let me know in the comments, because Josh doesn't have enough work to do.
Justin actually holds back ideas just to make sure that I concentrate and focus on what I'm currently doing, so that I don't troll on eBay and
well, every time I mentioned something, you started making it.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid that you'll just make whatever I say. But we're halfway through, Josh. You ready to answer some questions?
Absolutely.
All right, guys. There's a little bit of delay here, but we're going to open up the floodgates of questions here. What would you like to ask Josh about his lights? I know a lot of the frequently asked questions are, what lights do you have? How much do they cost? You know, there's a lot of questions. Josh gets asked a lot of questions, and he's very good at responding to those questions on the Deadlite Facebook page and on his regular Facebook profile. Mm-hmm. So,
actually, Matt Benton he asked a question, and he asked if I painted the Deadlite logo on my wall, but it's actually the wall is actually painted, and Derek cut the vinyl for me, and we put the vinyl on. So, and the side walls are green, Deadlite green is what I want to call it. But it's just a small shop. I'm the only builder, working every evening, every day on the weekend. And we recently started going to events, and I really hated to get out of the shop to go to events until I went to one. I like doing events, but to stop, stop working to go to the events, it was difficult to do. But once we went to the first one, and I realized that it is very helpful, because normally you only get to see the stuff in videos and on the Deadlite Facebook page. Where at the events you can pick them up. It's more personal. I'm talking to you face to face, and I can tell you about all the features and explain everything. And actually, at some of the events, we were able to set up a light that someone was interested in and actually fit it to their equipment and go out and actually try them out, so they can actually see how it would perform, on their own camera and camera rig.
All right. Yes. Stephen Brown wants to see my actual setup here, and hopefully this is a good representation. Let me get a non-blurry shot of it. Okay. You're seeing a profile view right now, Stephen. I use like a $25, $30 shoulder rig that you see are very common. Now, I was mounting my face cam to my chest mount, as you see here, but we switched to a better angle. We actually mount our POV cams for our face on the actual shoulder rig now. It's a lot better angle. The face light is this right here. I'm using an infrared converted zoom Q8 for an infrared camera that's facing forward, but this little light you see here, That's where I got the face light mounted, and you can just swivel it back and forth. For when I live stream, I got white light, and when I'm doing my paranormal research with infrared, I switch it, and I have infrared for my full spectrum camera. And that's essentially it. Now, if I back this up a little bit, let's see here if we can get a good shot. Okay, my Deadlite is attached underneath the camera by an adapter. So that's where the Deadlite is, and the camera is mounted there on top. And if you can notice here, there is a wire coming out of the back of the Deadlite going right into my, here, let's see if we can get it here, because we actually don't have good footage of it. Here we go. That little wire here goes right into that little face light, so that's how it's powered.
Actually showing some really good footage with the AX100 in the night shot.
Oh yeah, we can do that. The 60-watt test.
With the footage that you have on there now, I know it's delayed, but the footage that you have on there now is with the my AX100 and the 40-watt night shot.
Yeah, we're in the death tunnel now. I mean, the light looks very, very well diffused. As you can tell, if you're looking at Diana's face here, she's not blown out at all. I mean, look how good that is diffused. That looks absolutely beautiful. And as you'll see here in a moment, well, let's get a pan. You're going to a close up, and it pans over here for a second. Well, let me get to the questions here. I told people. Okay. Nah, never heard of this best damn lighting out there. Okay. Can I get a purple demon, Missy wants to know.
Oh, good grief.
Okay.
I want to say yes. As a businessman, I need to say yes. But I will talk to you about it later, Missy. You still need to use up this can of pink.
What's up, Joe? We're doing good. I'm trying to see the question here. I'm not seeing any questions yet. Are you guys doing a live investigation? We will be doing a live investigation in November. October, we have a 3-day event. We're kind of taking a break from filming. Mothman says, is the face light feature also available when ordering these? It seems like a good addition. So, yes, that is an option. Josh, am I right about that?
Yes, I can do that. That's basically a custom order, which means I have to figure out a price for the for the face light, but yes, I can accommodate custom orders.
Yeah, so what you're seeing there is just footage from his AX100 from our 2018 Waverly Hills. We're actually in the death tunnel now, which gives you a good idea of what it's going to look like. You know, with auto exposure, it's going to make the walls bright and down the hallway dark. If you want a light designed to go down a hallway like that, it's going to be a very focused beam that's not even really going to touch the sides, because auto exposure on cameras are pretty much working all in the same way. They automatically expose the brightest areas. So since most of the light is hitting the walls at this point, that's what you're going to get. So here's kind of like a shot in a bigger room. As you can see, there's no dark spots anywhere. And this is from a 40 watt. This is not my 60 watt.
Mm-hmm. You may have had your 60 watt on, but I do pan away.
Yeah.
So I did pan away at some point there.
I mean, these lights right here, I mean, I'm telling you what, guys, there's no way anybody can compare with the field of view lighting that you get from these lights. I mean, I just got blinded by looking at that 60 watt panning to you just now. My Jesus. But, I mean, let the footage be the testimony to this light. It's absolutely fantastic. But let's see if we can get back to the comments.
Bill Davis says, need one for the butt cam, too.
He made it funny. We were live streaming, and I was following someone up upstairs. It was Diana or Missy, and all you could see was her butt.
Anytime you follow somebody upstairs, that's what you're going to get.
Do you have any questions for Josh? Come on, guys. You got to provide content for the show. you guys got to have some questions. Like, what is the price of a 60 watt, Josh?
The price for the 60 watt is $205, and that is the Necro package. So you get the magnetic diffuser, you get the dual power feature, you get a 12,000 milliamp hour external battery pack, a power cord, and did I say 2 amp charger? You get the dual power feature. I said all those. Yeah, that's everything. And also free shipping within the United States. So all that, 205. And if you do not want the external power, I make them also without the external power, just the 18650 power, for a reduced cost. So if you wanted a 60 watt Necro without the dual power feature, it would take $15 off of that. So,
what about people that's living, like Terry Rowe, for example? He lives in Taiwan. Can we get a light to Taiwan? How much does that cost?
Yeah, that's the problem. The shipping with to go overseas it can be pretty expensive. I know I did price shipping for Terry to Taiwan, and I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was between $30 and $50, and there was two different prices. Yeah, there was two different prices. So the higher price, of course, you can add insurance, and I think it's 2 to 3 week delivery time. If you go the cheaper route, I don't believe it has insurance, and they can't tell you how long it's going to be there, how long it will take to get there. But normally within the U.S., I provide tracking number. I even put insurance on the package for the total cost of the order. So it's a little bit better peace of mind.
I hate to interrupt, but are you looking at Facebook comments?
What?
Matt Benton, he's got a question. I'll let you look at it before if you want to decide to answer that.
Matt's starting shit,
Has a Deadlite been ran over?
The Deadlite has been ran over unofficially. Not we, I should say. Missy. We were talking one night and on Google Hangouts, Derek and Missy and Justin and myself, and just got to talking, and I had said that I wanted to do an official test of the strength of a Necro housing. And, I'm saying it would withstand the weight. And then Justin's on the other side saying, you won't do it. Well, she did it.
She did.
And she ran it over with her car. She took it out on the street, put it under the tire, and ran it over.
What is it, like an early 2000s Impala she did it with?
Yeah, maybe mid. Yeah, it's around there.
So a couple £1,000 vehicle didn't do much, but just nicked up the flex seal.
It scratched the rubber coating on the outside. Still works good.
That's crazy to me, Josh. Isn't that a little nuts?
It's overkill. I like overkill. I like building things that last and are strong, which is excuse me. I'm playing around with 3D printed designs. I'm not sold on it yet. I'm okay with 3D printing some parts. Like I do 3D print the new battery holder, which is looks like this. It's a nice and strong 3D printed battery holder. And my love for magnets went to the lid for the battery holder as well. So the lid for the battery holder is held on by 4 earth magnets. So it holds on there good. It won't fall off. But I need to build one. I have a design ready to to build. I'm going to build it. I'm going to put some updates in it that are coming up, but we are going to run it through some vigorous testing to make sure that it is Deadlite worthy. But I will be.
Oh, sorry.
If it passes our testing, the 3D printed versions will be cheaper.
Okay, we have a quick couple questions here. Mothman Historian wants to know if the Deadlite, I'll just read it word for word. I try to keep my setup compact. Is this best used on a rig, or can it be used comfortable for a handheld setup? Would that be too heavy?
Well, what I do normally, unless somebody wants something special, I've on the bottom and on the top, you have standard 1/4-20 tripod thread adapters. So you can actually make the Necro the base of your portable rig. You can put a pistol grip on the bottom of the light. You can mount your camera on the top, your GoPro, whatever action camera on the top, and use it for your little portable rig. I also, I've had some customers ask me if I can put a cold shoe on, and yes, I do that also. I've had some recently do that, and it works really well. I only use aluminum ones. I don't put plastic cold shoes on there.
Where's Stephen Brown's photo of his 60 watt on his U-grip? Where can I find that real quick? I was trying to look for it.
It would be on East Tennessee Ghost Seekers.
All right, thank you.
There.
East. But go ahead, Josh. I just want to show Mothman what that setup looks like, because that's kind of like what you're talking about, right?
Bill Davis, Deadlite is the #1 lights removed from the ER.
So what you're looking at right now, Mothman, is a 60 watt Necro on like one of those U-grip style rigs that's handheld. You can get one with handles, but you can message Stephen Brown or East Tennessee Ghost Seekers and ask them if it's heavy. Joe Vitale, Truth Paranormal, in the chat right now has it, a night shot, a Deadlite 40 watt night shot that's mounted exactly the same as this. So you can ask those guys personally.
I can tell you, I have a scale right here. I don't have a 60 watt to weigh, but I can weigh a night shot for you. Now this is night shot, no batteries. I can weigh it with the batteries also, but the night shot is 14.3 ounces. Now the newer version with the recessed battery holder, it adds I think an ounce and a half. It's not actually bigger overall size. When you set it like this, it's actually shorter, but I extended the back of the light a little bit to recess the battery holder. But let me measure it with the. So we're looking at 14.3 ounces. I can put 2 batteries on here, and you're looking at 1 pound, 1.3 ounces is what it weighs. A little on the heavier side than some of the other lights out there, but
you can shoot it out of a cannon.
Yeah, you can punt it across the yard and go pick it up and continue to use it. The 60 watt is around the same weight. I believe the new version is a little over a pound.
Jessica Woodward Combs wants to know, how do you order a 60 watt? She didn't see it on the page.
So on the Facebook page, and this is the problem with not having a web page, and I'll get to that in a minute. But ordering goes through me. You can message me personally, or you can message the Deadlite page. But on the Deadlite Facebook page, under photos, there is an album that shows current models and pricing. They shows all the models. Each model is separate in one picture and shows all the features, what you get, and the price as well on there. And you can message me with any questions anytime. So
$205 for a 60 watt. If you want special features, it'll cost a little bit more. If you have something totally unique and customizable, that's what's cool, because Josh will probably be just about the only one that will build certain types of things. Now, other lighting companies do, but if you want great customer service, if you want really, really, let's just say, well-built things, thoroughly tested and quality controlled, Deadlite is the way to go. Okay, guys? And I'm not biased by this, because when I first met Josh, I said, hey, man, those lights look cool. Can you build, like, he showed me like a 30 watt of a project box he was building. I was like, hey, man, that's cool. Can you do a 40 watt? Can you stick these buttons on here? Can you do this and that? And he's like, yeah, sure. Da, 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 da. It's in the mail. I'm like, what? I get this package and I pull this freaking traffic light out. Dave Spinks has a 40 watt, right? He has the original 40 watt. And I'm like, whoa. It's just this big clunky traffic light looking light, and I just love that because it just looks, what's a word to describe it? It looks foreboding. I think I got a picture I can show you guys, like an old school picture. Let me see if I can dig that up real quick on the Deadlite page.
Yeah, I believe there are some older pictures on there.
Yeah, but I got to show you these guys. Scroll through there and see if you can see any more questions while I do this.
Okay. Stephen Brown said the recessed battery compartment is awesome. I know Joe Vitale got to see that at Hillsborough Dam this past weekend, and he really liked it as well.
What you're looking at now, guys, is the original prototype lights. And there's a 30 watt and a 40 watt there. And that photo does not do it justice. I actually do a live unboxing on Facebook that Josh had me put on the Deadlite page. It's worth a watch to see the full scale of it. But he doesn't like to make those anymore. I'd like to have like 20 of them just because it would look funny. Just to have all those lights like that,
nostalgic, like an evolution picture.
I just like it because it looks crazy. It just looks like this big black traffic light.
I actually have a 30 watt right here. This is actually number 3 when I made them out of project boxes, and this one actually had a diffuser on it. Yeah, it still had the potentiometer. Most of my lights you can turn off half the array because you need to if other people are using IR. And I had the magnetic diffuser on there.
Yeah, Mothman is asking if it works outside in the wilderness, and it actually does very, very, very well outside in the woods. Does very, very well. And what's great is you're not stuck with this hotspot flashlight looking light in your footage. Everything's lit up.
Tony has a question, and I don't think I have one in here. He's asking, how do we get the light to mount to a cold shoe?
An adapter.
Let
me get one real quick for you. I'll be right back.
Matt Button says, we missed your question. Let me scroll up here. I don't think I missed it.
Tony. These are very common adapters. Put my earplugs back in so I can hear what the hell's going on. All right, Tony.
Oh, there it is. I was trying to expand Matt Benton's question. He says, I don't like to scratch on my baby.
I got manual focus here. You're not going to be able to see it focus that well because I'm using my DSLR, but that's what you need. It's got the cold shoe on the bottom and the 1/4 inch 20 on the top, and you got these little thumb screws to tighten it up, and that's all you need is that adapter right there. Very common. Just get it on Amazon, H&R Photo, eBay, whatever you need to do.
Tony, after this live stream, I will message you some links to what I use for the.
Matt said I would buy another one if I had more money. Where's Matt Benton's question?
Said he wants just the body of a Deadlite to run over.
I am waiting just for a body for a Deadlite. How much would that be? I will run over that one and film it. Josh.
Well, I mean, I can build one. He can run it over, and
you know what else he's going to do, right?
He's going to shoot it. We know what's going to happen. It's not indestructible. It is not indestructible, but it is very sturdy. And there's actually a time lapse on my on the Deadlite page.
We can let him watch it. You want to let him watch it?
Sure. Now some of that process has changed, but basically the build is the same.
It's just cool to watch. I want you to film more for me.
I know. I need to get that camera. Just bring the camera in and set it up and use it.
Yeah, Josh holds out on time-lapse stuff for. He doesn't like to film stuff for me, dude. This video is really cool to put together. Just to show you guys the amount of work this man puts into these lights. This is one. It's slightly different, like you said, but why don't you kind of go over the process of, like, from just this video, if you remember how you built them back when this video was shot.
So with the video, it starts out with the piece of PVC, and I basically lay out where I'm going to mark out all the holes and everything. Now, like I said, the process has changed. I just did this for the video, tracing out where the holes would be and everything. I don't have to do that. I just make the crosshairs. But so I trim the sides off, and then we go to my trusty belt sander, and I use that a lot. But I get it nice and square, and there's a lot of checking. I have a very low tolerance as far as the measuring the widths and everything, getting everything exact. And I trim it down. I don't trim it down anymore, but I would trim it down to the size I wanted, and I use a flat sheet of 1/8" ABS plastic to trace the sides out on that, cut them out, and I actually glue those on the sides and clamp it. And then after that is done, I'm actually catching up to where I'm at on the videos, what I'm watching here.
Yeah, keep going. You're doing good.
Clamp it down, and then after that's over, then more sanding, of course. Now I start the shaping process, shaping everything, rounding all the edges off and giving it that smooth look. And after that's done, more sanding. And actually, after that, believe it or not, there is more sanding. I smooth it out before I actually spray the coating on there. And you can tell it's an old video because I don't have anything in my shop, and now the shop is completely full of stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I got to make the lid. So I trace the lid out and make the lid. I get it attached to the bottom and back to the belt sander for more shaping. So I get that to fit pretty close to perfect. And
most people would just 3D print this crap, right?
Yeah, but that's not the way I do things. So it may be if it passes the test, but they will be cheaper. I promise. So there's a lot of work put into it, and I think they're very fair prices, as you can ask anybody that's bought one so far within the last almost 2 years now. Even though this is the first year actually as an actual licensed business.
So what they're watching is just the housing.
Yes.
There's hours go into actually wiring it. And once you get it wired up, you actually run several full cycles of battery through the light.
Yes, my testing process is pretty lengthy. I don't just do a function test and throw it in a box. and send it. I mean, obviously there can be some human error. I make mistakes all the time, so that's why I do some have a long testing process. So I run it. I do. Of course, I do the function test, make sure everything works, and then I actually do a run test. I usually run 1 to 2 full external battery cycles out of the light, and go back through and check all the wiring and everything like that. And once it passes that test, then it's time to go. And I do things differently than other businesses. So one, I don't have the website, but it's a more personal experience. You're actually talking to the builder, and every single sale goes through me. So you're talking to me, the whole time. I provide um, progress pictures, pictures when it's done, and you don't pay up front, just to get because I have that waiting list, and right now it's pretty lengthy, but um, it doesn't cost anything to get on that list. If you change your mind, all you have to do is message me. I don't care if it's done or I'm in the process. Um, the light will sell. So there is no payment due until your light has passed all the testing and is ready to throw in the box and come to you. So once it's ready, I email an invoice. You can pay straight from the invoice. You do not need a PayPal account, even though it's paid through PayPal. You can pay with credit card, debit card, whatever. You Once it's paid, it ships next day. So you get an instruction sheet that shows all the controls, because like the night shot, there is a lot of buttons. There's a lot of controls to get used to. So you get the instruction sheet, you get all that stuff all in one nifty box. And I also offer discounts. So you get $5 off just for a unboxing video. And we love watching unboxing videos. There is lots of them on the Deadlite page. And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be real creative with it. You can be as creative as you want. You can be as simple as you want. As long as you open the box right in front of the camera to get your initial reaction, that's what we're looking for. You get $5 off. And I also offer a military discount, because we at Deadlight support the military. So any military veteran, past or present, can get a discount as well.
I love watching the unboxings.
Yep, they're all. I like them all. Some of them go all out. Matt went all out. Stephen Brown, East Tennessee Ghost Seekers. He does video production, and he went all out and did a video. So, and they don't do unboxing videos. He told me that many times. So
They do now.
Yeah, they do now. So,
Well, Josh, we're at 1 hour and 5 minutes, buddy. What will you want to say to our viewers to close this video out?
well, if you have any other questions, if you think of anything, want to order anything like that, something on the Facebook page that you don't see, that maybe you're looking for, something specific, excuse me, just message me, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Usually it's sooner than later. Sometimes I am actually busy at work, but I will get back to you, and we'll answer all your questions, and hopefully eventually fill an order. So
Thanks for watching, guys.
Yes,
This was really cool to do. Next time we do this, I'll have a little bit better preparation for the B-roll and the video presentation. I've been extremely busy. I'm right in the middle of fully editing the Man vs. Paranormal film. We've had an interesting week on the Interface Death group, so we have a lot of things coming out on the video production and on our paranormal research. So bear with me, but if you guys like this format of a review and content for the Deadlight page, let us know. Comment, give us a review, message the page, comment if you're watching this on post, or you can comment now. If you really, really like this and you want us to do it again, that would be awesome. I would like to invite customers that's used the Deadlight for a while to come on and give their review of it live and give us some feedback live and let you guys interact with them. I think that would be cool. What do you think, Josh?
Absolutely. Yes, it would be awesome. I like doing the live reviews like this. It's I think it's a little more informative,
and I don't have to edit it.
Right. There you go.
I have to do different things, which I don't mind doing because, dude, editing a Deadlight review or any review is sucky. I hate doing it, but it turns out looking really cool. I just like doing it. So I would like to thank you guys again for watching. We're going to cut this. We're going to bring this to a close. Thanks for watching, guys. We really appreciate it. Give Josh a message on the page. He is more than happy to help you with or answer any questions or help you out with any type of build that you need for your paranormal applications as far as lighting is concerned. Stick around. We will show you some trailers if you want to watch the trailers. But you guys have a good evening. And go ahead.
One more thing. The record for the most Deadlights owned is RJ Murphy in Arizona.
Yes.
He has 6. So anybody willing to beat that record, there is a close second. Somebody just ordered one, and they will have 4 once they fill this. It's actually
crazy.
More Deadlights than what I actually own. It took me forever to actually have my very own. So just wanted to put that out there.
Yes, everybody else has lights before Josh's lights before he has them. That's crazy.
I still haven't updated my night shot, so I still use the old style.
Thanks, Josh, for joining me tonight, and it's been a pleasure as always. And you can stick around on the video call if you want, but I'll go ahead and wrap this up.
Good. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks, Justin, for doing this with me.
You're very, very welcome. All right, guys, stick around for some video promotions. If you have not seen them, we do really cool videos of our paranormal investigations, of course, using Deadlight. You guys have a good one. We may schedule one of these in the very near future. You have a good one.
Wow, everything just got real dark. Everything's vacant. And there's a little girl back here. Let's see if I can get back here. Wow. She's back here. It's like this was a little room, like the jail cells. She's got a little bed here. She has a little nighty cap on, and so this is way back in like, wow, 19, I don't know, 10? It's unusual. It's a little girl. This place is more stuck back in time. I just had two kids go by, a boy and a girl, laughing, running downstairs to do whatever, but residual.
What was that?
I don't know. I feel like I can't breathe in this room.
Generally, Justin, when you guys investigate, do you just take long pauses and wait to see if you hear things and observe everything that's going on?
It depends on the location and our experience with the location. So in this case, at Waverly Hills, since we've been here before, we've heard a lot of stories, done a lot of research, and investigated. We typically like to listen a lot because we hear the coughing, we heard it last time, so we can hear it again.
Of prolonged isolation, paranoia, depression, helplessness, brain stimuli decreases. Now, what happens when you put a man isolated in 3 paranormal infested buildings for 3 nights in each location, all by himself? No one to help me. No one to protect me. Just me versus you. Does paranormal activity increase?
So what do you think of this piece of evidence? I think by far it's the best piece of evidence we have seen here.
That's flat out amazing. And that's something we've never captured.
Oh, wow.
What? Nobody has ever got it on video.
That's creepy.
In 11 years.
So no one's ever caught this on video?
Never. Ever.
Here is my story, and here is what I went through for my research into the paranormal. Push the door, please.